Are you feeling overwhelmed about how to start learning Korean? Don't worry, I've been there. When I first started learning, I made a lot of mistakes. I wasted time on things that didn't actually help me improve. If I had to start over, I'd do things very differently. So, in this guide, I'm going to show you the exact step by step plan I'd use if I were going to start learning Korean from scratch. That way, you can learn faster and avoid the mistakes I made. Stay until the end for a free PDF quick start guide that breaks down everything into an easy to follow action plan. Your first step is learning Hangeul, the Korean alphabet. You may be thinking that learning a new alphabet sounds hard. The nice thing about Hangeul is that it has a lot of similarities to English. It has 24 letters made up of consonants and vowels. You read the consonants and vowels from left to right to form words, very similar to how you would in English. Hangeul has syllables, just like English does. The syllables don't always match up exactly in the same way, but they do have a lot of similarities. Most learners can pick up the basics of Hangeul in about 90 minutes. One thing I recommend avoiding is using romanization. Romanization is when you write Korean words with English letters. For example, using romanization, you'd write mul as M-U-L instead of using Hangeul. Using romanization is one of the biggest mistakes you can make when first starting to learn Korean. It makes it extra confusing to say words properly. You'll end up mispronouncing words, and it will be hard to make any meaningful progress. Instead, you'll make much faster progress if you focus on learning the Korean letters and the correct pronunciation of Hangeul. The fastest way to learn Hangeul is through associations. You link the letters to things you already know. For example, the letter biup looks like a bed. It also makes the B sound, just like in the word bed. So whenever you see biup, you'll think bed, and remember it makes the B sound. Associations like these can also help with learning Korean words. More on that in a bit. Learn basic words. After you can read Hangeul, start learning basic Korean words. These are words you'll use every day and hear everywhere in Korea. A great way to start is by focusing on the 80-20 method. That means you'll focus on the 20% of the words that are used 80% of the time. Start with 1 and 2 syllable words at the beginning, since these will be the easiest. For example, 물, 차, 비, 야채. Then you can add multiple syllable words as you get more experience. 백화점, 비밀번호. Then there's a special group of Korean words that will instantly expand your vocabulary. These are called loan words. You already know many of them because they sound similar to words in English. For example, 버스, 커피, banana. Make sure to pronounce these using the Hangeul sounds, not English. Do this by reading the Hangeul syllables. For example, you'd say 버스, not bus. If you're having trouble remembering a Korean word, try linking it to something you already know, just like with the alphabet. For example, the Korean word jeep means house. It sounds like the car brand Jeep. Imagine a Jeep parked in front of a house. Now, whenever you see the word Jeep, you can think of a Jeep parked in front of a Jeep or house. Learn simple phrases. Simple phrases are the way to start having Korean conversations. They're the building blocks you'll hear everywhere. The great thing about phrases is that you don't need to understand the grammar yet. Just learn them and start putting them to use. You'll want to learn the basics first, such as 안녕하세요, 감사합니다. Don't worry too much about perfect pronunciation at first. Many learners obsess about getting the exact pronunciation right from the start. Just make sure you're directionally right, and then make corrections as you go. Once you know some simple phrases, you can start practicing. Listen for them as you go about your day. For example, you can start saying thank you at a neighborhood Korean restaurant or Korean market. You can listen for the phrases as you watch Netflix shows and movies, or listen to your favorite songs. Build basic sentences. Here's something that makes Korean easier than you might think. The simplest Korean sentence is just one word. In Korean, the subject is often left out when it's clear from context. Let's start with a simple verb, 가요. When you're ready, add the subject, 저는 가요. Then you can build up to longer sentences with objects. 저는 집에 가요. Note the order of Korean sentences is a bit different than in English. In English, it's subject, verb, object. In Korean, it's subject, object, verb. Master these sentence patterns before moving on to more complex ones. A common mistake is trying to use difficult grammar early on. It's far better to master the basics and then build on them as you become more comfortable with them. When learning basic sentences, don't stress too much about the subject, topic, and object markers. These are 이가, 는, and 을. Many learners get stuck trying to fully understand them. This happened to me, and I wasted weeks trying to figure out every little rule. They can be tricky, and they're often left out in everyday Korean speech. Instead, just get a general idea of how they work and move on. You'll naturally learn the details as you keep practicing. Practice speaking. If you live in Korea or have Korean family members, you're in a great spot because you have people to practice with. Try to speak Korean whenever you can, like when you order coffee or say hello to coworkers. These small daily interactions will help you get better and remember what you've learned. If you're outside of Korea and don't have practice partners, try speaking with staff at a local Korean restaurant. When you find somebody friendly and helpful, make them your regular practice partner. Visit when they're working and start with basic phrases like ordering or saying thank you. Korean markets are another great place to practice. Start simple by asking about prices or where to find things. As you get to know the staff, you'll have more chances to use Korean. If you don't know any Korean speakers, try language exchange apps to chat with native speakers. Kakao is the main messaging app Koreans use, so it's a great way to practice texting. You can also do video calls with language partners to improve your speaking skills. Remember, don't worry about perfect pronunciation at first. Native speakers will understand you even if you make mistakes. Focus on communicating and listen to how other people speak. Make corrections as you go, and your pronunciation will improve naturally through practice. Start with simple phrases like 감사합니다. Even if it's not perfect, Korean speakers will appreciate your effort. Each time you successfully use Korean, whether it's understanding a word in a Netflix series or typing a message to a language partner, you're making progress. If you're finding this video helpful, make sure to hit the like button for more Korean learning tips just like these. Choose your learning plan. Now that you know the basics of Korean, you need a clear plan to stay on track. A learning plan is a simple way to organize how and when you study so you can make steady progress. It sets clear goals, like learning 10 new words each week or practicing speaking for 15 minutes a day. For example, you might decide to use a Korean app every morning, take an online class twice a week, or review flashcards before bed. Having a plan keeps you focused and helps you build your skills step by step. Here are some ways you can learn with a plan. Take Korean classes online, use Korean learning apps, go to Korean classes near you, learn one-on-one with a teacher. The secret to learning Korean well is picking the right method and setting achievable goals. It's better to start small and do a little bit each day than to try to do too much and give up. First, think about your daily life. When can you study Korean? Maybe it's for 15 minutes after breakfast or while riding the bus. Start with less time than you think you can do. You can always study more later. Next, pick a way to learn that feels right for you. Do you want to learn practical Korean or academic Korean? Focus on speaking or writing. Learn at your own pace or with a teacher. Study alone or with others. Learn for fun or for a test. Try different learning methods to see what you like best. You have to find the one that you enjoy and that feels right. If something isn't working, try a new way. If you're not having fun or getting better, change how you learn. When you find what works best, you'll improve faster. Make it fun. Learning Korean should be something you enjoy. When you study using material that you naturally have an interest in, you'll learn faster and remember more. Plus, you're more likely to keep studying when it's fun. Your brain naturally pays better attention when you're enjoying yourself, which means you'll pick up new words and phrases without feeling like it's work. Why are you learning Korean? Here are a few of the common reasons that you might relate to. Read your favorite manhwa or manga in Korean. Watch K-dramas without subtitles. Understand and sing K-pop songs. Make Korean friends and chat with them. Cook using real Korean recipes. Travel around Korea by yourself. Now you can use these interests to help you learn. Here are a few ideas you can try. Read Korean webtoons. Listen for phrases during movies. Learn K-pop song lyrics. Chat with Korean friends over text. Learn Korean cooking terms. Practice Korean travel phrases for your next trip. It's important to celebrate when you succeed. Even small things matter. Make sure to reward yourself when you understand a new word, have a short conversation, or read a simple sign in Korean. An example of a reward would be buying a new pen. Then every time you use that pen to study, you'll be reminded of your success. Here are some other examples of rewards. Get your favorite Korean snack, go to your favorite restaurant, post your win in a Korean language learning community. Write down these wins so you remember them. Learning Korean isn't always easy, and sometimes you might feel stuck. When those tough days come, looking back at your achievements will remind you of how far you've come. Expand your skills. After mastering the basics, build on your skills. That means learning grammar points that build on what you already know. The key here is to do them in the right order. You want to avoid learning in a random order. For example, let's say you're at a basic level and are just starting to learn how to create simple sentences. If you try to learn advanced grammar to understand a scene from a movie, it's going to be too much of a jump. This will frustrate you and make you think Korean is too hard. Instead, follow a linear path that builds on what you already know. Whatever program or learning track you're using should have this laid out already. If you're not sure where to start learning Korean, don't worry. The team and I created a free PDF quick start guide to help you begin learning right away. I'll link to it down below. Track and adjust. Check your progress regularly, such as weekly or monthly. Review your goals often and see how you're doing. Keep going if things are working. If they're not working, adjust your plan. Make sure that your learning plan has a clear timeline and realistic expectations. For example, university programs will give you a syllabus so you know your level and how long it will take. Our program teaches everyday Korean, so our students can reach conversational fluency in 12 months using our method. Whatever program you choose, make sure you have a clear idea of the goal and timeline. That way you can feel good about the time you're putting in and know that you're making progress. Now you have a clear path to start learning Korean. What are you going to start learning next? Let me know in the comments down below.